How's you going today, guys? So, a lot of guys, this is an idea for a cheap barn door or cheap barn. Lots of guys already have an overhead shelter just like this one. This, well, maybe not quite as deep as this one, because this fucking thing is deep, really deep. I'm at my buddy Brian's place. Brian obviously has a dairy farm, and I used to work here. Anywho, he used to run beef cows, and we'd calve them in here, and when it was really friggin' cold and wind, we were trying to get something to come up with to close this in to allow the cows to calve inside, and so the wind wasn't whipping right in here. We were getting just to make it better for the calving situation. So then I was sat down, I came up with this idea how to make a cheap calving barn when you already have the building. Basically what I came up with, this right here. So see these doors? It's just a bracket and basically a bolt that runs through the top of the friggin' post up there into that 3/8 plate that's welded onto this frame, and this is a steel frame, and screwed the metal to it, and then I ran cables into the ceiling and they run around to the winch, and that's what holds the door up. Or when you want, you drop the door down, and on the back side of the door you can see that hole right there. When you brought your door down, you line it up with your post down here, and in our case we left it so it didn't go all the way to the bottom. It would come to the hole right there, and we would just run a bolt through and into the post. The bolts are right there for it to lock these down, and it might not seal it 110%, but what it did do was cut 99% of the wind that was coming into these buildings. So, and very cheap, very inexpensive, guys. Give you an idea how to get yourself a enclosed building versus a tarp that's flapping in the wind, because I see lots of you doing that. Anywho, there you go. We're off to go do something else. Talk to you later. Alrighty, guys, well, we're back home. Boy, what a day for January 20, I think it's the 8th today. I think it's January 28th. Thursday, I believe, is the 1st of February. +9. Parts of the province here got up to like 20 or 22 today, they're saying. Crazy. But when I was at Brian's, Mazer Group phoned, said my new tank came in. So let's get this sucker installed, because tomorrow we're supposed to be tub grinding. Unless he phones to say something happened and he can't do it, we're tub grinding tomorrow. It's not even wearing a heavy jacket. I'm just wearing my Flying 7 BCP farm and trucking vest. See that right there? So, yeah, crazy ass weather, guys. Crazy ass weather. It's actually, for this time of the year, it's actually too warm. I would rather like -10, something like that. Because this extreme cold, warm to extreme cold, back to warm, it's not healthy for the animals. So, Phillips screwdriver, pair of pliers. Realistically, that's all we need, right? Okay, I'm gonna get up there and start ripping stuff apart. We'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'll say one thing. After you rip these things apart, couple, 2, 3 different times, you get quicker at putting them back together. that one, it's installed now. I'm gonna take that little fucking screen out. And let her bubble down a little bit. She almost dropped to the very bottom. We'll add a little more. It's still going down. She's pretty quick to replace. Christ, it's only 2 screws. Hook the wire up, hook the hose up, and you're done, right? And put that back in. And the cover on. I don't know, it's got a overflow for some reason. But that should be all that's to it. Hopefully, the bottom of that damn thing don't break off again, right? Now, as far... Well, I could have swore I heard it hit the ground. That goddamn little tit. Anyway, what I was gonna say was, as far as that little tit goes, the JB weld didn't work, but I think epoxy actually would. It's just I don't got any epoxy in stock right now. So one day I will grab some epoxy and we'll try that. And you never know when this is going to break again, right? Anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to crawl down from up here and we'll bring you back after. We'll take this thing for a cruise and test it out. Talk to you later. Well, I might not be epoxying it because I can't find that fucking little tit that I dropped. I don't know where it went. And I really can't figure out why there's 2 of those little tits on the bottom of the canister, but only 1 hose. I got a feeling that that exact same canister is what they use for like a big 4-wheel drive tractor, and you got the option of, for the front brakes it requires more oil capacity or a second line, and for the smaller tractors like this guy and that one over there, they only need 1 line. That's kind of what I'm thinking, but I'll have to do some research on that and find out for sure. But like I said, I dropped that little friggin' tit and now I can't even friggin', I don't know where it friggin', I thought I heard it hit the floor, but I have no idea where it went. I don't see it nowhere. Yeah, it's small, but it's not that friggin' small. Anywho, long story short, I at this point I'm not fixing it, but I am going to save the canister for now. So I'm going to let you guys go. We'll talk to you later. Alrighty guys, well, sorry I didn't show it, but anyway, the new cows that we bought, they all got new ear tags. I considered branding them, but then we decided not to. Not at this time. So we didn't move any snow or nothing yet, and it's like 5 o'clock. Another hour and a half-ish, it'll be getting dark. So, and I didn't quite finish setting all our bales out for tub grinding. So let's get the bales set out for tub grinding. We got about 15 or so to move yet. Oh boy. Here we go. So yeah, like if you guys are ever, if anybody's out there that's thinking, shit, it'd sure be nice to have a goddamn barn to calve in some cold temperatures, and you haven't got a barn, you know what, it doesn't take much. Just make a steel frame, 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch square tubing would work great. Make yourself a couple of little them doors, and if you got a post frame shelter, and most shelters are just a simple post frame, they're not stick framed. So at least all of the livestock shelters I've seen were all post frame. So you just got to make yourself a frame and then run a couple of bolts at the top through that frame into your posts, couple of cables for winches, and you're good to rock and roll. When it's warm like today, or even at -10, -12, you know, nice weather, you can crank those friggin' doors so they're open. And then when it's cold or at nighttime, if you're expecting cold weather or really windy weather, you can close one door to cut the wind off from getting inside, or close all of your doors off, or however it is that you got it set up. If it's one door only on the whole shelter, or 2 doors or 3 doors, you know, like there's ways of doing it, and it's actually relatively inexpensive versus building a whole goddamn door or barn. Now in Brian's case, those doors have been there, oh boy, since roughly, I built those doors in roughly 2000, and I'm gonna say 3 or 4. And most of the time the damn things are open at their place, but you don't have to have them open. You can have them closed too. It doesn't really matter. The big thing is just put your winches high enough so the cows can't get them and use them as something to scratch on. That's the big thing. Well, at this point, our orange light for our brakes are not coming on, and the brakes are working pretty nice. So that's all a plus. Bonus. I was actually at Brian's helping him out. He's had some chimney. He's got a wood burning stove just like us. Only his house is 2.5 friggin' stories. And his chimney hasn't been cleaned for 2 years. I was over there sweeping the chimney out, cleaning it up as best I could, but my sweep doesn't go right to the very goddarn top. So we gotta find somebody with a long enough ladder or lift or something to get to the very top. I was sweeping it out from the bottom up. His chimney's on the outside of the wall and it has a clean out on it at the bottom. And so, yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go. Tomorrow we're supposed to be tub grinding. Should be interesting. I don't know how that's gonna work with it being so warm and fucking muddy, but we'll see what happens when the time comes, right? Anyways, I'll talk to y'all later. Have fun. Morning, everybody. She's a beautiful morning. So, got a bunch of the snow pushed out of our windbreaker. You can see I moved a couple windbreaks out of the way. I got a little bit more to do, but while I was in that corral, bouncing over frozen cow turds, or somewhat frozen cow turds, all of a sudden my tractor was telling me, Big Blue was telling me that I needed to stop because I wasn't sitting in the seat. My seat switch. Basically, when somebody sits in the seat, there's a little switch in there, and that tells the tractor that it's good to move. Either because I don't generally drive the tractor with air in the seat in the winter time, and you do bounce a little bit and whatever, right? I must have bounced a little bit, just enough that I caught the wiring harness that goes under the seat and maybe severed a wire of some sort. It also won't air up now. So I got to get in there, get under that seat, find my wiring harness, and try and rectify our problems. Because when you're not sitting in the seat the way it's working right now, I can start it. At least when I tested it last night, I could. Let's just see what it does this morning. There we go. I can start it, but my little lever on the side, when you pull the lever, it does nothing. And you can see it flashing. I just took the brake off, and that means it's telling me that there's nobody in the fucking tractor. So, and the brake is supposed to be applied. I put the brake on and we're good. It's telling me the brake is on, but when I take it off, there she goes. Now I can shuttle shift, but not really. I have to step on the clutch to shuttle shift forward and reverse. And you got to make sure you get it all the way to the floor. You can't do a partial clutching. So I got to get in underneath this seat and find out what the hell's going on. Anyway, I'm going to get busy with this. I'll bring you guys back here in a little bit. Alrighty, guys. So I took a bottle jack, just a little guy, and I stuck it under the front part of the seat here to hold the seat up. Lifted it by hand. I had it on this block because the rubber floor is dished here a little bit. But anyways, what I found, that's working. There we go. So I'll get in there. I got lucky, in other words. I pulled the rubbers all off and I traced the wires, but on these tractors, if you can make it out, I'm trying here, guys, I'm trying. There's a wire connection right here, kind of under the seat, and that fucker came apart. How it came apart, I don't know, but it did. And I got lucky. There's no broken wires. It was just the connection came apart. So, easy fix. Close that. And now, move that back. There. So, since I'm at it, I'll sweep some of the crud out of this tractor. And then we'll be good to go for a little while. Got to reinstall my rubber here. There we go. Like so. There. Okay. I'll bring you guys back in a little while. Alrighty guys, well I'm just taking the last of the little bit of cut feed that we had. I'm just gonna dump it on the ground. I'm not gonna bother putting it in a bunk, but what I want to show you is, like, look at this. Like 2 days, 3 days of plus temperatures, and yesterday +9. There's like no snow left. Lots of water puddles. Don't have to worry about the cows coming for water anymore. CP's coming with Little Blue and the bale processor, and we're gonna shred a couple bales. And check over here where I shredded bales out the other day, 2 days ago. I gave them 3 bales, but you got to remember we took 17 head out of here. So 3 bales should last these girls basically 2 to 3 days now. Yep. They didn't, they're freaking using it for bedding. They didn't even clean up on it. Warmer temperatures, they're not eating as much. See that? There's quite a bit on the ground. But you can see all over, like way out there, all that black stuff, that's all the manure spread around from the winter. So that's all right. All that manure out here is better than having it at home or in the corral. Anywho, one lonely cow should come out. They want to graze already because it's been so warm. They're thinking they should be grazing. Alright, I'm gonna let you guys go. We'll talk to y'all later. They're going. I'm gonna get out for a sec and show you guys up close. We're gonna go in the dust here. See what this stuff looks like, how chopped up it is? That's what makes the difference between a tub grinder and a bale processor. You don't get a bale processor to chop the feed up like that. Now if you have a bale processor that has the extra fine cut option, I think their Highline has one. It's called a CF650 fine cut. So you got the regular flails, similar to what I got in my Jiffy. And then that's on that one rotor, and then you'll have a second rotor that the material goes through this, has to go through the second rotor for the extra fine cut, and that will do basically what we're doing today, but the cost to do that is a lot higher. There we go. Just about had it dropped the wrong fucking way. Anyways, the cost to do that just by running the tractor is a lot higher than what I'm doing here today with the tub grinder. Sure, he's charging me for it, but this way it's one pass and it's way faster. Like that CF650 unit, they're nice units, don't get me wrong. One day I might have one, but to do 150 bales with that thing versus 150 bales in this thing, this is going to do it in about, well, we'll find out today. We've got 148 bales set out. So, but I know for a fact that that bale processor hooked to a tractor is not grinding as fast as this thing is. That I can promise you. And lots of you guys that have been following my channel for the past little while, you've all heard me say these exact same words numerous times. So this is for all the new people. Now, and I know I'm gonna get asked again, and I get asked every time that we tub grind, what about the twine? What about the net wrap? The net wrap and the twine, just like in a bale processor, gets caught up in the drum of the grinder, and 95% of it is wrapped up on that drum, and then when he's done grinding, he'll clean it out and leave it in a pile for me to dispose of. So what does get through there and end up in the pile is so minimal, it's ridiculous. Little more I'm going to talk here. What we're grinding this time is basically 90 to 95% alfalfa grass mix, and it'll be the last of our real old hay also. That stuff will go through at the very end because that'll be the stuff we use first. Anywho, I'm gonna let you guys go. I think I got way more than enough for this video. I'll probably bring you back a little bit later just to see how big the pile is getting and so on and so forth. But other than that, give us a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. It's free to subscribe. Share the videos, and fun. Let's get her done. We'll catch y'all later. Alrighty guys, so for any of you newcomers, if you're looking at getting tub grinding done and you're in this area, Vibank, Odessa, so on and so forth, and you're not sure who the hell to get, look up Crest Livestock. I believe they are Odessa directory. And I just checked my phone, so it's been exactly 1 hour right now, and that's 35 bales. That's what a 35 bale pile looks like. So we're basically grinding a bale in, we started at 5 minutes to 2. So basically 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock, we did, this is number 36. So we're basically grinding a bale in 2 minutes. Just under 2 minutes to grind a bale. Is, if my calculations are right, 3 goes into 60 2 times, 30 goes into 60 2 times, I mean. So we did 35 bales. So yeah, that's it's going good. It's going really good. And you ask, what's the yellow stuff? Well, that would be some oats that had lots of weeds in it when we were combining, or yellow feed, 2-year-old yellow feed from last year. It's either, right? And that's why it's so yellow and looks like straw. Some of the oats, when we were combining, there was weedy areas, so I just picked up the combine header. We didn't actually combine it, and I went over top, and then I went back and baled it up so the grain's in there. Or it could be some, like I said, 2-year-old barley oat mix. And so yeah, going good, looking really good. Too bad it's so friggin' mucky, but what do you do, right? This'll freeze up eventually. Talk to you later. Alrighty guys, so we're at 2.5 hours. I know it's hard to see with the sun, but it's definitely slowed down. Dallon's constantly checking bearings and stuff. He's got one that he's concerned with, and it's kind of a major bastard. So he keeps lifting her up, testing the heat with a heat gun, throwing a pile of grease into her, so on and so forth. So plus the bales I'm running right now are almost all older ones off of this end. Some of them are like 3 years old. They're quite damp, and I'm trying to get rid of them. This end of the pile is where we're gonna feed from first. So yeah, everything combined, him checking the way he is, basically when he tips the machine up, well obviously it's not grinding, so yeah, that plus the damp bales because it's so bloody warm, so on and so forth. Everything combined is just causing everything to slow down. But I think we've done roughly, I don't know, roughly right around 60-65 bales in 2.5 hours. So still not terrible, not as great as what we started off with, but not terrible at the same time. Okay, I'm gonna let you go. We're gonna keep on chugging here. Talk to y'all later. Hey guys, so you see how the other pile is a little shorter? This one's a lot taller. One of the reasons for it is because he just keeps lifting the auger up and he hasn't moved ahead yet. The second one is because the feed is damper and the pile's not cascading and falling down. It's wanting to stand up. It's not that it's wet, like a bunch of it just fell just now, so it gets up fairly high, and then eventually it'll tumble, it'll cascade, but it's not cascading the way it would if it was good and dry. You see how it's standing like that? And that's why I'm trying to get rid of these old bales, because they took on a little bit of moisture. It's still dusting nice, but they did take on a certain amount of moisture, and they are a little bit dampish. So it slows the grinding process down too. And theoretically, I've got another, well, to get rid of all of my green feed oat, yellow feed oat, barley, and so on and so forth, I got one more row. Oh, excuse me, burp. I got one more row of bales to do, another 14, 15, 17 bales. Once I get rid of those 17, then I'll be into a lot drier stuff. And if I go to the other end of this, which you can't really see because of the sun, then it's all hay basically from this year. But we're trying to get rid of this stuff. And if for whatever reason Fallon decides that he needs to quit, As long as I can get rid of all of these bales, that would be great, because I'm not getting these guys back again this year. Anyway, I'm gonna let you go. Have fun.